ran away as fast as he could. He ran on until he came to some peasants mowing in a meadow.
"Good people,"
said he,
"the king is coming, and if you do not say that the field you are mowing belongs to my lord, the Marquis of Carabas, I shall get all the mice in the land to eat your crops."
So, when the king drove by and asked whose meadow it was, the mowers all answered that it belonged to my lord the Marquis of Carabas.
"You have very fine land,"
said his majesty to the miller's son, who answered casually that it was not a bad meadow. They drove on, and the same thing happened in field after field, with the cat always running before them and saying to everybody he met that they were to declare the whole country belonged to his master. Finally, the cat arrived at a castle where a wicked ogre lived, who owned all the land through which the royal party had been driving. Putting on the bravest face he could, Puss marched up to the castle and asked to see the ogre, who came to the door and asked him what he wanted.
"I was hoping you could satisfy a traveller's curiosity,"
said the cat.
"I have heard how you have the power to change yourself into any sort of animal you choose. A lion, for instance?"
"That is true,"
replied the ogre,
"and in case you doubt it, I will prove it by becoming a lion."
and this he did. And the cat was so frightened that he jumped up onto the roof of the castle and stayed there until the ogre had returned to his original form.
"But, sir,"
said he,
"it may be easy for such a big gentleman as you to change yourself into a large animal, but I do not think you can become a small one, say a mouse. I have heard it is quite impossible for you to do this."
"Impossible? You shall see."
And immediately the ogre was gone, and in his place was a little mouse running about on the floor. This was exactly what Puss wanted, and instantly did the most natural thing under the circumstances. He jumped on the mouse and gobbled it up in a second. And that was the end of the ogre. Just then the king arrived at the castle. The cat ran forward and, standing at the gate, said in a loud voice,
"Welcome, sire, to the castle of my lord, the Marquis of Carabas."
"What?"
cried his majesty, very much surprised.
"Does this castle also belong to you? Truly, Marquis, you have kept your secret well. I have never seen anything finer than this courtyard and castle."
The Marquis helped the princess out of the carriage, and standing aside to let the king enter first, he followed his majesty into the great hall where a magnificent feast was waiting for them. Before the banquet was over, the king, charmed with the good qualities of the Marquis of Carabas, said to him,
"It is up to you, Marquis, if you will become my son-in-law."
"I would be very happy to be,"
replied the Marquis, and the princess's smile declared the same. The very next day they were married and took possession of the ogre's castle and everything that had belonged to him. And what about the cat? Well, he became a big shot in the Marquis's land and never had to run after mice again, except when he wanted to. The end.